Hey, what's up, youth leaders? It's a beautiful day outside. It's going to be a beautiful evening, probably in the high 60s. So we'll be outdoors doing worship and the teaching time. I just want to do our 5-minute leadership check-in and talk about two things: invitation and incarnation. Jesus comes up to his disciples and he just simply says, "Follow me." Just doesn't really know the guys all that well. Wasn't a lot of rapport. Maybe he had a reputation, or maybe there was some information about him, but he invited people and they followed him. Go back in time with me when you guys were on the blacktops during your school days and people were picking teams, or people were in the classroom and you're having a project, and when people selected you, when people invited you into their group, that always made you feel like that was a privilege, or this person wanted you on their team. And so when we talk about invitation, when it comes to youth group, one of the things that I wanted to define the win as is not someone saying yes to your invitation, because sometimes students may say no, but it's extending the invitation as a win. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you come to youth group and your small group or students you've connected with, inviting them into activities to connect and have fellowship. So inviting them to play games with you, whether it's an outdoor game, inviting them to play board games if you're more inclined that way, or inviting them into a conversation with you. So maybe last week your students shared that they enjoy horseback riding, and so you went and Googled horseback riding, and you had some follow-up questions for them. Those kinds of invitations, though they may not always say yes to them, are ways of expressing that you want to connect, that you want to encourage, and that they're important to you. And so that's the invitation part. Second of all is the incarnation part. Hudson Taylor was a missionary to China, and one of the things that he did is he wanted to identify and empathize with the people. So when he moved to China to be a missionary, he took on many of the Chinese customs. He took on how they dressed. He learned their language. He learned their customs. And so Hudson Taylor, if you went and saw him, he was very indistinguishable from the general populace, because he was one of them. And so the mindset of incarnation is the idea that we, although are different in different life stages, we're parents, they're students, it doesn't mean that we can't walk in their shoes. That's what Jesus did. That's Emmanuel. He came, he was fully God, yet fully embraced humanity when he walked this earth. And so the idea of incarnation is reflect back when you were in high school, when you were in middle school, and some of the questions, the struggles, the changes you were going through. And when we come to youth group, have that incarnational mindset of, all right, let me see if I can be more relatable. So when it comes to youth group, I know after long days of work, you guys are volunteering, and I appreciate that. But if your students want to go outside and play a game, is jumping up and going, yeah, let's go play. Or you're like, maybe not a board game, maybe not a outdoor game, but let's go play a board game. Or if it's having that intentional conversation of, what are your interests? What are your hobbies? And let me listen and hear from you. It's choosing to opt in to connecting and extending the invitation, but it's also with the mindset of how can I reach them effectively with what they're interested in, and let them know I'm one of them. I'm not just their leader. I'm not just a parent, but I'm a brother and sister in Christ. And so I would encourage you guys to find ways to do those things. That can look like, if you have their information, sending a text or an email and say, hey guys, let's be more intentional, and let's meet before youth group starts 15 minutes early, and we're going to play Resistance in the fellowship hall. It's a great board game, by the way. Or we're going to meet half an hour early, and we're going to play Resistance every Wednesday night. Or you know what, we're going to play four-square volleyball, which I just got, or spike ball. Or we're just going to meet in our small group room and do a check-in, or leave it to your students. Hey, what are some things that you guys want to do? And let's see if we can connect as a small group before youth group. Or maybe it's after youth group. So maybe it's saying, if you have a high school group and maybe a middle school group, depends on the parents, but hey, after youth group, we're going to go to Flaps once a month and get ice cream and sit and connect there, and your mom and dad can pick you up there. There are a plethora of options out there, but being inviting and being living with that incarnational mindset, I think goes a long way with connecting, creating fellowship, and building rapport with our students. looking forward to tonight. I'll see you guys later.